Would it be okay or appropriate for someone to visit a temple to worship for curiosity's sake? Any tips?
Well, I guess I'm wondering what kind of temple we're talking about.
I'm assuming it would be
Jewish?
a Jewish.
Okay.
I'm assuming.
In my world religions class, we as a class in seminary went to a service of Islam. So we went in, and it was we also went over to a Buddhist temple. We also went to all different areas, and we actually got to engage and talk with the leaders. So we had a dialogue with the imam, which is the Islamic leader, and then we would talk with the folks at the Buddhist temple, and then we got a chance to dialogue. I believe that it is eye-opening and brilliant to be able to do background understanding like that. It allows you not to think ignorantly where I heard that they all do this. Well, hold on. Have you ever been to one? It's a couple things are eye-opening. Like, for example, it was an incredibly advanced, forward-thinking mosque, which is a Muslim house of worship. Very modern, not conservative, very liberal. And yet, it was intriguing to watch all the men up front and all women are in back. It's a very different view of how we engage with things, and so it was kind of a little bit of a culture shock. In other places, it's designed where women are on one side of the wall. You can't even see the women. But these women were allowed to be in the back. So when you go through these things and you begin to start understanding some more ancient forms of worship, you kind of start putting pieces together in the Bible, and it helps. But what I think that we need to caution anytime that we do research is that some of us our minds are so wide open that we don't even know what we believe yet. And then we go wandering around and picking up all kinds of information and trying to jam it all together and creating our Christianity. Okay, that's a bad move. So all I would say is this. If you know the core elements of the gospel and you're solid biblically, I think it's a beautiful idea to create an understanding by even going and watching Jews worship in an Orthodox style. When we went over to Israel, we flew El Al Airlines for one reason: cultural understanding. Because El Al is the only Jewish airline. Now, you can fly over to Israel in American Airlines or whatever, but when you go on El Al and everything's kosher, everything is marked with kosher on all your stuff, you're flying from New York to Israel, to Jerusalem, and because of the diamond trade in New York, you have a huge amount of Orthodox Jews in all their garb, and because the flight is so long, you watch them do their prayers, and they do it all up in front of everybody. So you begin to see there's a whole different world out there, and it's not just little white bread America.